Yes, 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 yes. It's your boy Craig D in the place to be. And this is Talking Clutch. Little Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. With the lead singer legendary Teddy Pendergrass. Give me a second of that. Yes, yes, yes. And as we continue on, Talking Clutch, get at me. TalkingClutch@gmail.com. Clutch Talking at Clutch Talking on Twitter. All right, let's get right into what's going on. NBA playoffs coming up. Big game tomorrow between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Winner will get in, loser will go home. Denver's been playing awesome. Jimmy Butler's basically calling out his teammate, Andrew Wiggins, and the rest of his team, saying that they play soft at times. Yes, and I agree. But Karl Anthony Towns has been a beast. He's not playing soft. Wiggins is a finesse player, and if his shot doesn't go down early, he tends to disappear. But we've seen that in a lot of players in the NBA. That's going to be a big game. You ask me who I got in the game. I'm not sure. I think that game is at Denver. I want to say it's at Denver. If it's at Denver, I'm taking Denver. I think Jimmy Butler should be the difference now that he's playing, but he's going to have a big time game. And that Thibodeau defense is going to have to show up. MVP this season, you can make an argument for several people. I think Dame Lillard had a great season. LeBron had a typical LeBron season. Harden's the MVP. Westbrook, another triple-double season. He needs 18 boards tonight, 16 tonight, to get average a triple-double again. And I think he'll get it. And that's a phenomenal feat. But the Houston Rockets, number one seed, doing it all season. Harden showed up every night. Let's see if he shows up in the postseason. Chris Paul is the difference there, for sure. And the role players are playing their role, and they're playing well. I can't wait. This is what it's all about. The postseason. Philly's playing well. Rookie of the year is gonna be Mr. Simmons. But the kid in Utah has been playing well. He had a beast of a season. You got to tip your hat to him. You got to tip your hat to the job Pop has done out there in San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard just doesn't feel good enough to get on that uniform and play. I'd love to sit down and talk with him and really see what's going on there. But San Antonio's in again. You got to respect that. Tell me what you think. Who you got? What's going to happen? Cleveland has a 4 seed. I think that's a disappointing season, but we've seen a complete roster turnaround there, and I'm not counting out the king. I'm not. And with that said, I got to address something. I got to address again, and I addressed it in my old show, Just Sports. Now I'm addressing it with Talking Clutch, the LeBron versus Jordan debate. And you can certainly get at me on this opinion. TalkingClutch at gmail.com, at Clutch Talking on Twitter. Who's the best? Now, I addressed this with a family members, with a cousin's Facebook account, and I said, listen, different eras, both great players. I don't feel that you can really judge that. I think you got to give them both their props and keep it moving. You know, I could pick various players and put them in that argument. I could say Wilt Chamberlain was the best player ever. I could say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best player ever. I could say Magic Johnson was the best player ever. And I can go on and on and on with that. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal. There's a lot of ways I could make that argument. The other point guard, God, his name is slipping me. I mean, no disrespect, but the guard that Westbrook, whose record he went after last year. Excuse me. I'm a little bit under the weather here, guys. Weather's been crazy. Snows one day, it's 60 the next, rain the next. I got caught in the rain the other day, so I've got a little bit of a cough here. You want to go by championships? Okay, Michael Jordan's the best ever. You want to go by consecutive finals appearances? LeBron James is the best ever. I don't want to go by that. People say, oh, if I'm starting a team today, who do you start your team with? Well, I pick I pick Michael Jordan, then I pick LeBron James. Period. I let LeBron beat a point. I let Mike beat a two. That's how I start my team. Now, to me, it gets trickier when you start picking those other positions because Kobe's got to be on that team as far as I'm concerned. And when you're talking about greatest ever, if you don't put Kobe in that argument, I have a problem with that. There are some people that would put Allen Iverson with no titles and only one finals appearance in that argument. Allen Iverson was a beast, and he did not have the teams that Jordan eventually had. He didn't. Say what you want, he didn't have those teams. LeBron, as a young man, didn't have the teams, and he got to the finals irregardless. Now, everybody considers the Dallas loss to be a hiccup in his career. I don't know. I thought that Dallas team was pretty good. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. Michael Jordan broke my heart for years, so I'm a little biased, I admit. I hate Michael Jordan for that. I'm a New York Knicks fan through and through, and he broke my heart on a regular basis. But if I had to put it out there, he's the greatest I've ever seen. But LeBron does things that Mike, quite frankly, just doesn't. Yes, Mike in his youth was a shutdown defender. He was. And LeBron in his youth was a shutdown defender. He's not quite that now. He's more of a pick his spots defender. Kobe was a great defender at one point. Tim Duncan, nothing to sneeze at. Five-time NBA champion. Great defender, great passer, great shooter. Wilt Chamberlain, different era altogether. Nonetheless, great player. Big time scorer. This is why I feel you can't compare eras or greatest player. Because what I have to do when I think about this debate is pick a player I'm talking about and transfer him to a different era. And how would his greatness have been? And it's hard to even do that because then you have to start to configure how the game was being played, which influences how the game was being played. And if you don't believe that, if you don't believe Dr. J had influence on generations after him, then you know nothing about the game. If you don't know that coaches shrugged against big men shooting distant shots, then you know nothing about the game. There was no 3-point line at one time. The game has changed. So it's hard to compare the physicality of the game. You take those Pistons teams with Lambeer and Thomas and Rodman, and those guys, and put them in today's era. Do they win? I don't know. They were a great team. But the rules are different. No arm barring on a defender. No hand checking. So I think it's ignorant for people to say, without a doubt, X, Y, or Z is the greatest player ever. I think it's almost impossible for them to distinguish who the greatest player is. Now, if you've got a method that you feel is the greatest player, I want you to send me a note, send me an email. I'll read it on the show. This is Talking Clutch with your boy Craig D. Hendricks. All right, but we don't have a lot of time, and I got to talk a little baseball. We're gonna do a lot of hoops in the coming weeks. NFL draft coming up. We're gonna get into some of that in the coming weeks, and I'm outraged by a lot of things with the NFL draft, but I don't even want to get into that right now. I got to talk some Yankee baseball. Everybody's making a big deal about Giancarlo Stanton striking out. And ESPN ran a thing showing the history of new Yankees and strikeouts. And it's a very typical thing in baseball especially when you go to the New York market and you're pressing a little bit and you're a home run hitter. It's gone on with Mantle and Jackson and Giambi and so forth and so on. But here's the big deal about New York baseball right now. The New York Mets are playing well. And they've got an ex-Yankee, Frazier, on third base. They're 8-1. They've got a strong pitching staff. And things are they're focused. Things are looking good in Queens. And that's what Yankee fans and Yankee brass, Yankee management doesn't want to see. And the Red Sox are tough. And the Yankees start a series tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Here is where the pressure is for Judge and Stanton and the rest of that Yankee team. The Yankees have got to get better in their starting rotation. They've got to pitch better. Got to play a little bit better defense. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Real quick, want to give a shout out to our sponsor, a broker who truly cares. Do what you need to do for your family. Protect them. Get the insurance you know your loved ones are going to need.